Okay, guys, now that you've learned the basics of Flipbook, as a reminder, if you would want to change the new one that you made by hitting the plus sign, it came up untitled. So if you want to change the name of that, you hit edit, you click on untitled, you click on the box, and then hit X, and it'll erase it, and then put your name in. So I'll put in Mr. K. And since we're making, oops, it made a little K, so I'll back up and make that a big K. Okay, now you can pick your background color. So I picked a blue, and you can pick the blue from here, but I made my own blue. Okay, and I hit done. So my background will be that color, which is the color of water, which since we're making a Nemo type of animation, that's good. So I'll hit save, and I'll hit done, and then I'll click on it to get into the actual animation. Now, we're working sideways, and we have two layers, and to make layers, again, I've already made a background layer and a fish layer. To make my layers, I click on the toolbox and I go up here to this layers tool. To add a layer, you hit the add a layer button, and then to change the name, you change the name just like we did with the name of the project. So I go to edit, you click on it, you can change the name, and then so blah 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 blah, and then save. Okay. Then if you don't want it, like I don't want that one. I was just showing you how that works. I click on the red button there and I delete it. So I have my two layers. What that means is there's a bottom layer, the background, and there's a fish layer on top of that. So it works like pieces of clear plastic on top of each other. So we want to work on the background first, and I'll hit back. Now, to get to the screen, I click on the blue. You see where it says 1 here? These are your layers right here. So if I click on 1, I can switch between my layers by clicking on this button and then on the layer I want. So I want to work on the background layer right now. Okay. This is your go back button. This is your go forward. You'll see how those work in a second. Go back to my toolbox. Now I want to make a seaweed colored background, or I want to make an ocean bottom background. So I click on my brush, I click on my color, and I'm going to get like make like a seaweedy colored background. So to do that, and then I'll change my brush size. I'll make my brush a little bit bigger, and I click on the blue. So this is going to be my sea floor bottom. Okay, I'll make a little bit of like seaweed coming up from the bottom. Okay, and here's one. And then I'll make a piece of coral by going back in here and picking purple, or I'll pick a color from this swatch this time. Okay, so I'll make some coral in front of that. Okay, and then I'm going to just go back and color it in. And it's not super fantastic, but you get the idea. Okay, and then I'm going to make a starfish hanging out on the coral. So I go back to my brush size. I'm going to make my brush size small so I can, oops. So here's my starfish just hanging out here. Okay, so there's my background. Now that I've made my background, I want to make my fish. And I'm going to go to layers, that 1, and I go up to 2, and it tells me I'm on the second layer. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to make a Nemo kind of a fish. Here's my fish. I'm going to color him in while I'm in here. Now, because I'm on the second layer, I'm going to be able to move him. Okay. I'll put a fin on the top. Little fins down here. Okay, so there's my Nemo fish. But I'm also going to put a white stripe on him. There's a little black stripe on his tail, I guess. So I'll put a little black stripe on him. I'm going to put white in between it. Okay, I'll go back and get black again. Oops. I'm going to erase that, so I grab my eraser tool. And then I go back and I get my black. Oops. Now I want to undo that, so I hit the undo tool and it put it back. And I was clicked on the eraser, that's why it did that. So there's my Nemo guy. I'll put a little eye up here. Okay. I'll put a little white dot in the middle. Okay, so there's my little Nemo guy. Now, like I said, if I go back to the toolbox here, and this right here, this little toolbox with the layers behind it, if I click on this layer tool, I can click on that and watch. I can move him around, and that's how we're going to make him look like we're swimming. But we need to make more of these frames because there's 60 frames per minute, or there's 30 frames per second, I should say, of a animation. So in the next one, I'm going to show you how to do the animation part.